This movie is an overview of IRSA Viewer. IRSA Viewer is really the heart of many different tools here at IRSA. You can access it from this button on the main page or in search results like this. From this kind of a search, you may have search results that say to IRSA Viewer like this. If you click this, it will launch IRSA Viewer with those search results loaded. Most commonly, though, you'll probably just click this icon from the front page. You're dropped first into the Results tab, but in order to have something to put into results, either you have to upload a file or you have to search for data, either catalogs or images. Let's search for images. You can load FITS images, create a 3-color composite, or HIPS images. Let's get some FITS images. Then you need to identify the source of the image. You can search IRSA's holdings, upload an image from your disk, from the web, or from the IRSA workspace. Let's get something from IRSA's holdings. It's likely to be the most common thing you'll do anyway. Then you need to put in a target. I'm going to put in M16. Then I need to put in a cutout size. I need to pick the units first and then put in a number. Now I need to select a data set. There are many, many, many choices. There are so many, it's overwhelming. It's most efficient to filter on this list by looking at the filters on the left. You can filter by mission, by project type, or by band. Let's look at mission. M16 was undoubtedly observed by WISE because WISE was an all-sky survey. So by picking WISE over here, we have many fewer choices over here. Let's pick WISE, all WISE. I can keep picking additional images. Let's unclick WISE and look at Spitzer. Since M16 is a galactic star-forming region, let's filter this down to just galactic program. Now we have many, many fewer data sets to weed through. To learn more about each of these projects, I could click on the eye with a circle in it for each program to learn more, but in this case, I know that GLIMPS observed M16. Finally, if I clear these, I can filter down by near infrared. I should use the 6 degree, not 6 times, but 6 degree mosaics. Search. Okay, it's come back and loaded all of the images that it found. These are FITS images, so you can use the toolbar up here to interact with them. There are other videos that go through the image toolbar in more detail, but let me highlight just a few things. First of all, the images come back locked by color and stretch, so that if you change the color table to a different color table, then they all change. However, it's not necessarily locked by position, and you can see right away that all of the images are not in the same orientation. I'm going to put this back to the original grayscale, and then I'm going to click on the WISE 3 image. I go up here and pick Align and Lock by WCS. Since WISE is north up in RA and DEC, you can see right away that the glimpse tiles were created in galactic coordinates. Right now we're looking at many images at a time. If you want to look at one image at a time, you can click on this. If you want to get a list of images, you can click on that. This is a Firefly table like all the other tables that we get in this tool. So just like all the rest of these tables, it's filterable and sortable. So if I click on the wavelength header, it sorts the list by wavelength. So if I click done and go back to looking at many images at once, now the images are sorted by wavelength. Let's go back and load another image. This time, let's get a HIPS image. HIPS images are fundamentally different than FITS. HIPS images are designed to cover large chunks of sky. So if I leave it at M16, I can ask for a much larger field of view. Let's ask it for a degree, and then let's ask for the Herschel image. Search. Now the reason it has that blue footprint in that Herschel image is because that was the image that we had selected when we went to go search on that HIPS image. It's just trying to put the images in context. We can also search for catalogs. Let's click again on the WISE 3 image and then go to the Catalogs tab. Now the Catalogs tab searches IRSA's holdings. There's other ways to search a wide variety of catalogs, but this is supposed to be a short introduction, so I'm going to skip that here. We'll do definitely WISE and all WISE for the catalog, and then instead of a cone search, we'll do polygon, and then this has the corners of the image that I had selected when I initiated this request. Okay, search. Now it's loaded the catalog that it found, and there are 5,300 sources in this catalog. It's overlaid it on the image and made a plot, but because there are 5,000 sources, it might be a little bit hard to see what's going on. Let's again pick the all-wise image, and then let's go to one image at a time. So the way that it's handling this catalog, it's using a hierarchical catalog display. If you zoom in far enough, it does eventually show you the individual sources. But as you zoom out, it's trying to take advantage of the fact that the image underneath, under the hood, sorted into these cells. And so the way that it's showing you that there's many sources in the image is it's telling you that there are 77 sources in this cell, 73 sources in this cell, 74 sources in this cell. If you want to see the sources in the cell, you can just click on it and it will show the sources in that cell. If you zoom out, the cells get bigger. If you zoom in, the cells get smaller until they show you the individual sources. You have some control over exactly how it's doing this. If you go to the layers icon, you can choose different ways for it to show you those cells and how big those cells are and how they're rendered on the screen. You can also change the color of the catalog. Now the plot over here, it is also binned things up. So each one of these points in the grayscale can represent more than one row in the catalog. The default plot is right ascension and declination. For sure, those columns are going to exist in any given catalog. Let's filter down this catalog so that we have fewer sources. One easy way to do that is to just ask for the high signal to noise sources. So I've got filters at the top of each column. If you don't in yours, you can turn the filters off and on that way. So let's ask for the W1 SNR column to be greater than 10. And that's enough to have it show individual sources in the plot. But let's ask also for W4 SNR to be greater than 10. So now we have many fewer sources. Let's go to the gears and then do W1M Pro minus W4M Pro. So we can make a color magnitude diagram, W1M Pro. And then since it is a color magnitude diagram, we'll reverse the y-axis to put bright objects at the top. Now we have a color magnitude diagram. Now, if I zoom in here and pick that source, it's that row in the table. It's also highlighting it in the plot, but let's see, I think it's that one. So if we go here, yep, it's centered on that source. Since I have pan by table row selected, that's why it's jumping. If I pick a different source, it will jump to center that source, and it's in the catalog. It works the other way too. If I zoom out from here and say, where is that source? It's highlighted in the table and in the plot. Let me just note that there are other videos that cover the toolbox for the plot, the toolbox for the table, and the toolbox for the images. And of course, there's online help as well as context-sensitive help that is available throughout the tool.